I would like to welcome you to the first Ponca City High School Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Tonight we will induct 10 amazing POHI graduates. These 10 individuals to be inducted will have their photo and their bio in the halls of POHI for students to see and inspired to be as they leave the great halls of Ponca City High School. I could not be more excited. My name is Rich Cantillan. I'm a 1976 POHI alumni, and I've had the pleasure of being the chair for the first induction ceremony committee. Would the committee please stand and be recognized? Don't be bashful. This group has worked hard to make this event successful, and I'm really excited, and I think it's going to be an incredible evening. At this time, I would like to call on Alan Hardesty to give our invocation.
Well, first of all, I'm just honored to be here. This is, as I, on the committee, looking through the inductees' information sheets and bios, it's just, it's an amazing thing. And I'm just honored to be here and be involved in the committee. So, anyway, I'd like to say a prayer over this event, if you don't mind. Thank you, Lord, for this opportunity to be here and witness this special event. It is very meaningful to all of us. But first, we want to acknowledge you, your gratefulness, your kindness, but we want to thank you for the gifts that you have given those who we are here honoring tonight. We thank you for their opportunities, and we thank you for their accomplishments. And for those of us who were born and raised in Ponca City, we are forever grateful. This is a special place, and we acknowledge that. And now we want to pray for those students who are currently at POHI and those that will be here in the future. Please be with them on their journey and direct them on their path to whatever it may be. And now, Lord, thank you for this food, and please be with us on our journeys home. Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Alan. Would everyone please stand for the singing of the national anthem by the POHI Chorale, followed with Ponca City, We Love You.
Let's kneel.
For the
that was the entire chorale, and thankful back when I was in high school, there were about 40 of us. That was just a section of the current Pohai chorale. It's as strong today as it's ever been. Were they not amazing? Our dinner tonight was was prepared by Affairs to Remember, which is a local caterer here in Ponca City, and they gave our group a really great price, and I thought the meal was really good. So if you would show your appreciation. And then I want to thank our Ponca City Student Council for serving our meal. They're under the direction of Betsy Easley, and this is Betsy right here. If you don't live here in Ponca City, you might not be aware of this, but our student council year in and year out is recognized as one of the best student councils in the entire state of Oklahoma. And that's something we're really proud of. So they do a really great job. And now the moment the reason we're here, not to eat, but to do this next part, is our induction of our first 10 outstanding Ponca City alumni. And I would like to call on Beverly Smith and Chuck Bowman to come up for the induction. Okay, Chuck and I will do a duet of Ponca City, We Love You. No, we won't.
Let me say something.
This is awkward. Okay.
You stand right there. I know she's not a quitter. I personally want to thank this man right here for all the things he has done over the last year and a half to make this happen.
Now this really is awkward. So, hey, Beverly's here. All right.
But I think we should give Rich a great hand of applause for being the secretary. Come here, Beverly. Those of you who have never met Beverly Smith have really missed a very special person in your life. I have loved her forever because I've always looked up to her. We were classmates at Ponca City High School. And since our graduating class of 1954, she's been the person that's held our class together. She's been the person that has our reunions. She's the person that makes certain everybody knows what's going on. And it was her idea when we first started talking about this that our class, the class of 1954, should be the host class of the first inductions of Ponca City High School Hall of Fame. And we're several of us here tonight. So I'd like, if you're a member of the class of 1954, I want you to stand, if you can.
He has not grown since high school either.
All right, to get started, Beverly and I decided that we would share these introductions because of the 10 of them. It might be a little difficult for one of us to do that. But we're delighted to do that. We're delighted to do this. I could not believe during the years that I was a football coach and worked for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes that Ponca City High School never had a Hall of Fame. And about 2 years ago, I was asked to speak at a Hall of Fame, High School Hall of Fame thing in Colgate, Oklahoma. And driving back to Edmond, I realized that this should happen. We should have this at Ponca City High School. So I made arrangements to talk to David Pennington, then the superintendent of schools, and called Beverly, and I said, let's go talk to this man, see if we can't get this thing going. And we felt so good that he welcomed us, and we talked about it, and he looked at me and he said, we're all for this, but you've got to show us the money. And it was going to cost some things, and that's probably one of the reasons that it hadn't happened before. And one of our classmates told me that he wanted to give the first $1,000 to make this happen. And Dick Sealer did that. and he'd be here tonight, but he's going through some difficult health matters back in Oklahoma City. But I want you to know, Dick Seaburn is one of the reasons why this has happened. And I'd like to hear you give him a round of applause. He's got to get Dick was a state champion wrestler on our state championship team in 1953. Better and I also decided that we should pay honor to those who are not with us tonight, those who have passed on, to be the first inductees. And I have a great honor to introduce to you in this induction ceremony a personal friend. You know, when you come to your point in your life where you can induct personal friends in the Hall of Fames, that really makes it special. And I am just blessed tonight to be able to introduce and induct one of my very favorite men, in Bob Hughes, as our first inductee. There are several here in this room that played with Bob in high school and college, and I'd like to have you guys stand up. There's 3 of us right here at this table. And there's Gary Grayson, he's there, and John Clark, Fred Clark. These guys played with Bob in high school, as I did, and we know him personally. And I'm going to just say a couple of things about Bob that is not in your printed program, but I'd like for you to take your printed program and open it up to Bob Hughes and listen to a few things that I wanted to say personally that are already there that I'll mention. But he's being inducted into this Hall of Fame for several reasons. Number one, his great success in the business world. When Bob went to OU, he got a degree in business. He got a master's or MBA from Harvard, and then he went into the cable television business in Austin, and he had great success there. I was reading some things about him, and his company at one time was worth $300 million. And I thought, you know, that's pretty good change for a guy from Ponca City. But the things I want to mention to you go beyond that. There are reasons why he's really a Hall of Fame guy. When he graduated from high school, he was really an outstanding baseball player, and he got a football or a baseball scholarship at the University of Oklahoma. But that summer, before the All-State game, he played in a Van Johnson baseball league in Independence, Kansas. And while there, he met a young guy by the name of Ralph Terry. He was from Chelsea. And Chelsea, Oklahoma is up in the northeastern part, you know, kind of close to Miami, and also close to Commerce, where Mickey Mantle's from. And those two guys came out of high school about the same time. And Bob and Ralph met in Independence, Kansas, played that whole summer. And then they met again in the All-State game. And after that, Bob went into the University of Oklahoma to play baseball and study for his great career. Ralph Terry had signed with the New York Yankees. And instead of going right into the Yankees, he went to NEON in junior college, where I was a football coach and athletic director for 6 or 8 years later. And there he could only play basketball because he had signed a professional baseball contract. Well, Bob and Ralph stayed to be good friends. All those years, they were just really good friends. And I got to meet Ralph, and I said, you know, I'd really like to have you write something that I could read in Bob's favor. And here's what Ralph Terry wrote. To Ponca City High School's Hall of Fame, my sincere congratulations to Ponca City and the Bob Hughes family for his induction into the Ponca City High School Hall of Fame. Bobby and I have been good friends since 1953, when we were high school kids, all-staters, and teammates in the North and South game. Later that year, we were on the same team in Independence, Kansas, in the Van Johnson League. He was an excellent player and a good life-term fan. I miss him very much. Signed, Ralph Terry, 1962 most valuable player in the World Series with the Yankees.
Oh.
That's the kind of friends Bob Hughes had. And tonight, I think we should all be proud of him being a Wildcat. And I'd like to have his granddaughter, Kelsey, come up and accept the award. Kelsey.
very much. It's such an honor to be accepting this award on behalf of my grandfather. Hold on. He truly would be humbled by the recognition. Bob Hughes, to me, Papa, grew up in Ponca City until he attended the University of Oklahoma. This town was very special to him, and we have enjoyed hearing many stories about his childhood here. After he passed, his wife, Gail, and my grandmother, Gigi, went through all of the scrapbooks that his mother had made for him growing up. In them, she found many awards and recognitions ranging from academics to sports. As we've all heard, Papa was an avid baseball player and basketball player and went on to attend OU, Boomer Sooner. I went there for a couple of years. One of these awards in particular was given to a student that possessed high qualities of character. In it said honor, courage, scholarship, leadership, and service. This isn't my first time to speak about my grandfather in front of a large crowd. I also spoke at his memorial service in March. And I talked about his character and all the attributes mentioned in that award. The Ponca City school system instilled these values in him that he practiced throughout his life, and he taught us and taught his family. It's an honor to be here in his hometown. Thank you so much for having us. And I really enjoyed hearing all of the stories from his former teammates and friends. It really made this really special. Thank you.
I'd like to have the Hughes family stand up. Wife Gail, stand up. Son Richard, or Craig, rather. All you folks stand up. Came from Austin, Texas tonight to be a part of this. Give them a round of applause. The second person that we're going to induct tonight is a person that I learned about from his high school coach, because he was my high school coach. Earl Sullins was a football coach here in Ponca City for years. Most of the guys sitting in here from Ponca City were coached by Earl Sullins. And so was this Waddy Young guy. Waddy Young was a high school graduate from Ponca City a year before I was born. But he made a name for himself. And if you'll read in the program all the details about what he did in his life, I want to share with you why he's being inducted. Not because of his great athletic ability, what he accomplished as an All-American football player at the University of Oklahoma in 1938. That's not why we're inducting. We're inducting Waddy Young because he gave his life for our country. And he's a very worthy inductee. He grew up here in Ponca City at a time where a guy 6'2", weighed 210 or 220, whatever, that was an unusual sized guy. And he was Mr. Everything. He was a great football player, he was a great wrestler, he was a great boxer, but the funny thing I always thought was he's a great ballroom dancer. When he was in Oklahoma, he was, well, you'll read it there in the program, he was Mr. Glamour Boy. But he also worked on drilling rigs in the summer and rode motorcycles. He had to be quite a character. But the thing that's really most important about him, after he finished his football career in Oklahoma, he was drafted by an NFL team, the Brooklyn Dodgers. And he played 2 years, and then World War II broke out. And since he had finished ROTC at the University of Oklahoma, he's already a commissioned officer. But he joined the Army Air Corps. That was before the Army Air Force, the U.S. Air Force. And he started flying B-27s, or B-17s it was. And he flew over 90 missions in B-17s. And he became a captain. And he had his own airplane called Waddy's Wagon. And during a bombing raid, over Tokyo with 70 other B-29s. One of his planes in his squadron was damaged coming back. Instead of taking his plane on in to land, he turned his plane back, and it was a fatal mistake. He was shot down. The other plane was shot down, and he was lost. His whole crew of 10 were lost. Age 28, Wadi Young died. Ponca City has acknowledged it. University of Oklahoma has acknowledged it. He's no ghost out there. He is a very well-known Ponca Cityan. And here tonight to accept this honor for him is Rick Hancock, who is a family relative. Rick, we're happy to have you here, and we'd like to hear some thoughts that you might have.
Well, on behalf of Glenn and Amy, that's Wadi's parents, and my grandfather, Francis, was Wadi's brother, and on behalf of my mom and her brother and sister, and all my brothers and sisters, we humbly accept this and really appreciate the recognition for Wadi after all these years. Thanks very much.